music's impact on memory, emotion, detail, and the intricacies of recall. Music, a universal language that transcends barriers, holds the power to evoke emotions and memories long forgotten. But could it also alter what we remember and how vividly? A groundbreaking study published in the Journal of Neuroscience, .doi.org, 10/15/23, JNEUROSI.2025, delves into this fascinating phenomenon, revealing that the emotional arousal elicited by music post-learning can significantly influence whether we recall the essence or the intricacies of an experience. Intriguingly, the research demonstrates that variations in emotional arousal triggered by music can shift the balance between general and specific memory retention, offering potential therapeutic avenues for mood and memory disorders. But here's where it gets controversial. Does music-induced arousal always enhance memory, or can it sometimes hinder our ability to remember fine details? Music and memory are intertwined in our daily lives, with certain melodies capable of conjuring vivid recollections or emotional reactions years after the fact. This connection has piqued the interest of scientists, who've begun exploring the potential of music as a tool to augment memory and mood, particularly in individuals with neurological or psychiatric conditions like Alzheimer's disease or depression. The influence of music on memory appears to stem from its capacity to induce emotional arousal, a factor known to impact the formation and storage of memories. Emotional arousal triggers the release of stress hormones, such as norepinephrine and cortisol, which play a role in memory processing within brain regions like the hippocampus and the amygdala. However, the relationship between arousal and memory is complex. While high arousal can sometimes enhance memory, it may also lead to a trade-off, where the general theme of an experience is remembered more vividly than its finer details, or vice versa. The recent study aimed to investigate how emotional arousal induced by music post-learning impacts memory. Researchers focused on how varying levels of arousal, both increases and decreases, affected general versus detailed memory. They also explored Leal and her team embarked on a quest to unravel the mysteries behind this phenomenon. The study involved 130 undergraduate students aged 18 to 35 who participated in a lab-based memory experiment. Participants were randomly divided into 6 groups, 4 of which listened to emotionally arousing classical music with varying emotional tones, positive or negative, and familiarity levels, high or low. The remaining 2 groups either listened to neutral sounds, like white noise, or sat in silence. All participants underwent a memory task designed to evaluate their capacity to remember both general and detailed aspects of visual images. The memory task consisted of 2 stages. During the initial stage, participants viewed a series of neutral images of household objects and were tasked with determining whether each item belonged indoors or outdoors. This exercise ensured participants' attention to the objects without explicitly informing them of the need to remember them. Following this encoding phase, participants listened to the assigned music, sound, or experienced silence for approximately 10 minutes. To gauge emotional responses, participants used a standardized affect grid to report their current arousal level and emotional tone before and after the music or sound exposure. After a 30-minute delay filled with unrelated questionnaires, participants proceeded to the second phase of the memory task, where they were presented with images and asked to determine if each was new, old, an exact repeat, or similar but not identical to something they had previously seen. This task enabled researchers to separately measure 2 types of memory: target recognition, indicating general memory of repeated items, and lure discrimination, reflecting specific memory that distinguishes between similar items. higher lore discrimination scores indicated a sharper, more detailed memory. Listening to music increased emotional arousal compared to the control conditions of neutral sounds or silence, with the effect being most pronounced for negative music, regardless of familiarity, and for unfamiliar positive music. However, individual responses to music varied widely, with some participants experiencing increased arousal, while others reported decreased arousal. Despite these variations in emotional response, the study revealed no clear differences in memory performance across the 6 experimental groups. This suggested that the type of music or sound alone did not adequately explain memory disparities. The researchers then adopted a different approach, categorizing participants based on how their emotional arousal changed after listening to music. Utilizing a machine learning technique called K-means clustering, the researchers identified 3 distinct groups among the music listeners: those who experienced significant increases in arousal, those who showed moderate increases, and those who demonstrated moderate decreases. Analyzing memory performance across these groups unveiled a more intricate picture. Participants who encountered substantial increases or moderate decreases in arousal exhibited improved general memory, target recognition, but poorer specific memory, lore discrimination. Conversely, those who displayed a moderate increase in arousal showcased stronger lore discrimination but weaker target recognition. These findings suggest that moderate emotional arousal may enhance the brain's ability to store fine-grained details, potentially through engaging hippocampal mechanisms associated with pattern separation. In contrast, both high and low arousal levels may favor the storage of the broader context or essence of an experience. Initially, we hypothesized that music would generally improve memory. Discovering the trade-offs between gist and detail was intriguing, Leal shared with SciPost. Trade-offs between gist and detail have been observed in other emotional contexts, aligning with the broader literature on emotional modulation. However, this was a novel insight within the realm of music and cognition research. Comparing these patterns with the control group, the researchers discovered that similar arousal patterns without music did not yield the same memory trade-offs. This implies that music-induced arousal has a distinctive impact on memory encoding or stabilization, even when the arousal level is comparable to that caused by non-musical stimuli. Music does not affect all types of memory equally. We observe music's ability to target the gist or details of an experience, Leal noted. Moreover, there are significant individual differences in response to music, which can significantly influence the effectiveness of music interventions in enhancing memory. This is crucial when contemplating personalized music interventions. One limitation of the study is that all participants listened to classical music, which may not resonate equally with everyone. Personal music preferences likely influence emotional responses and could impact how music affects memory. Although classical music is frequently used in research, it may not encompass the full spectrum of emotional engagement people experience when listening to their preferred tunes. The study relied on self-reported emotional arousal, which, although valuable, may not fully capture physiological changes. Future studies could incorporate measures such as heart rate, skin conductance, or brain imaging to provide a more comprehensive understanding of how emotional arousal unfolds and interacts with memory processes. Moreover, investigating longer-term memory effects, such as testing memory 24 hours or a week later, could shed light on whether these music-induced enhancements are fleeting or enduring. In our upcoming study, we plan to employ personalized music selections to determine the impact of a more individualized music approach on emotional arousal and memory, Leal revealed. The study, titled Fine-Tuning the Details, Post-Encoding Music Differentially Impacts General and Detailed Memory, https://101523. This is co-authored by Kayla R. Clark and Stephanie L. Leal. What do you think about the potential of music as a tool to enhance memory and mood? Share your thoughts in the comments section below.